Hello everyone and welcome to a video presentation about prepositions and prepositional phrases. These are important to know when you are discussing subjects and verbs in a sentence because a subject and a verb, neither one of those can occur inside a prepositional phrase. So as soon as you get a sentence, one of the first things you should do is to get rid of the prepositional phrases so you can correctly identify the subject and the verb. Now, on this slide here, you'll see that there are 6 sentences, 3 about a road and 3 about a house. Let's read each one of them together. First one says, I strolled across the road, I strolled down the road, I strolled up the road. Only words that are changing in there are those 3 words, across, down, and up, are all prepositions. And prepositional phrases will really change the content of the sentence. Across the road, down the road, and up the road are 3 totally different things. The next example, about the house. The house at the corner is mine, the house near the corner is mine, the house around the corner is mine. If you're trying to give someone directions and you're saying that your house is at the corner, that means it's right directly on the corner. If it's near the corner, it might be 2 or 3 houses down from the corner. And the last one, around the corner, you probably can't even see it from where you're standing. So those 3 words, at, near, and around, all 3 of those are prepositions. And each one of them is going to give you a very, very different sentence. Okay, so just a basic definition of a preposition. What it does is it shows a relation between things. Okay, and what they do is most of the time they're relating nouns and pronouns to other words in the sentence, and they are extra information. They're not 100% necessary for the sentence to exist, but it gives you extra information. Okay, so I'd like you to start writing some of these down. There's 3 different functions of a preposition. First one is to show location. And you can see a number of these listed here that would show location of something. Above, over, among, beside, behind, and so on and so on and so forth. Okay, so is it location spatially is what we're talking about here. So again, think of at the corner or on the corner for location in terms of the house example from previous slide. The next category in the different types of prepositions is time. Okay, now it's not time in terms of 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in that way, but it's more about time in terms of order of things. Okay, before, after, during, until, all of those will be time prepositions. And the last category of prepositions is the action or movement category. So when something is shown to move or showing action, now don't confuse this with a verb, but these types of prepositions, the 8 that are listed here, show a relationship between 2 things that shows action or movement. Okay, so since we now have a general understanding about prepositions, let's now talk about prepositional phrases. If you understand prepositions, you'll be able to understand prepositional phrases. All right, so let's just talk about what a phrase is to begin with. So please write this down. It is any group of words that doesn't have a subject or verb pair in it. Okay, there's many different types of phrases. And we're going to get to these at some point during the year, but they're infinitive, appositive, gerund, participial, absolute, prepositional phrases. The only one we're going to start with today, though, is prepositional phrases, so don't worry about the other ones that are listed there. Okay? Now, over the years, this is the trick that I've used to illustrate the different types of prepositions. Your teachers before may have chosen something about an airplane. I choose this example about a cat. Okay, so in general, a preposition can tell what a cat can do with a chair. And I do not like cats, but it's a really easy trick to remember. So, here's what I mean. So, a cat can be in the chair, can be under the chair, beside the chair, near the chair, by the chair, with the chair, and so forth. So, the first word in that phrase is a preposition, and the other thing about a prepositional phrase is that it always ends with a noun or a pronoun. Okay, to make something a prepositional phrase, it has to end with a noun or a pronoun. In this case, it is chair. Okay. Well, what other things can a cat do? Well, a cat can jump over the chair. It's a very nimble cat. It can jump on the chair, into the chair, from the chair, off the chair, excuse me, from the chair. So these are all showing those actions or movements that we discussed a couple of minutes ago. Other things it can do, well, also action and movement. A cat can run around the chair, to the chair, through the legs of the chair. And this one was tough to do. It doesn't really have a good category to fit into, but it says a cat can be so still that it looks like part of the chair. So of is one of those prepositions that is tough to remember because it doesn't really fit in those categories as obviously as some of the other ones do. But again, remember, the first word is a preposition, and the last word of that phrase is always going to be a noun or a pronoun. In this case, it's the word chair for all the examples. All right, no more cats. Now, there are some prepositions that don't fit into the cat example, and you're just going to have to remember these. Okay? And these are words like about, along, at, beyond, beneath, between, for, like, and so on. And there's also many others. Okay, but the cat example, the airplane example, whatever one that you were taught before, use that. And some of these will maybe fit in your example, but doesn't fit in the cat example. All right, so let's talk with prepositional phrases. Like I said, they're always going to start with a preposition. As I mentioned also, it's going to end with a noun or a pronoun. And it's tough to say always, but almost never has a subject or a verb inside of it. Please write down those three bullet points to go along with what a prepositional phrase is. All right, so let's do some examples. So please write down the sentence that's up there. The cat ran around the chair and jumped into my lap. Then I'd like you to write that sentence. The mouse peeked out of his hole, darted across the floor, and disappeared under the couch. So write those two sentences, and what I want you to do is pause this video and cross out the prepositional phrases in the sentences. I will say this, in both of those sentences, there's at least 2 prepositional phrases. Some, there might be more, but there's at least 2 in each. So do that now. Okay, moving on. Another one, a little bit longer sentence. I'd like you to also copy this sentence down and do the same exact thing. It says, the man sat on the grass under a shady tree in Central Park on a beautiful day in mid-July listening to music. And there are a number of prepositional phrases in this sentence as well, but do the same things as you did with the other 2 examples. Write the whole sentence down, cross out the prepositional phrases, just put a line right through them, and that's something that we'll start with on the day that this assignment is due. Thank you so much, and hopefully you understand prepositions and prepositional phrases a little bit better.